Time flies when you're having fun, or so they say. But when you work in education, time flies full stop. Lucky for you, Teachers TV kindly presents Nick Packard, Joe Parry and Jane Dixon, our time-saving team. Today, it's early years expert Jane Dixon, whose motto is invest time to save time.
Okay, I'd like to ask you all to begin by thinking of a skill or an interest or something that you do outside of teaching that has nothing to do with teaching. Can anyone tell me anything that they might do that we might be surprised at?
Rock climbing.
Excellent. Rock climbing. Okay, that's a goodie. Excellent. Anyone else do anything?
Gardening.
Gardening, brilliant. Okay, we've actually got lots of skills. You know, some of you may be good at plastering, DIY, gardening, you've just said. And I think, you know, we've got to remember that parents are like that too. And we don't really think about, you know, Sophie's dad, the plasterer, or Emily's mum, the IT expert. And I think we can use parents in a much more effective way. So when you get your class of children, one thing that I would recommend that you do is send a letter home to parents and tell them what topics you're going to be covering for that year, and perhaps have a little form so that they can actually let you know what they're good at themselves, anything that might relate. So any time that you're doing a topic, you can think, oh, I wonder who could help me in that way. One way that we can use parents then is to see them as the expert. So parents as the expert and parents as sometimes as the more knowledgeable other. So for instance, you might have a parent who is an estate agent, and they might be able to come into school and help you start a topic on homes or our street, for example. It makes it more meaningful and real for the children, and it saves you time having to do a lot of research. Second way you can get parents to help you is with resources. You know, if you had someone who worked in a travel agent, rather than you having to go after school into the travel agents, pick up all the brochures and the maps, etc., you know, you see the parent at the end of the day and just say, well, I know you work in a travel agent, we're looking at holidays in Europe, how can you help? Using your IT parents, you know, to help you work out how to use a piece of software. The head teacher might give you a piece of software and you think, oh great, if I had time to read look through this, I'm sure it's really good, but I haven't. How many times have we said that and just put it to the side and actually not got down to it? So by using a parent helper and with their knowledge, they could actually work through the program for you and then just spend 10 minutes with you saying this is how the program works. And finally, using the parent to teach time-intensive new activities and new skills. One I can think of particularly is a 4-year-old with the saws. Now, it might fill you with horror to think about 4-year-olds using saws, but for, you know, those early years folk, we know they could actually probably more sensible than the 14-year-olds, quite frankly. But they need to be taught. It's a skill and they need to be taught how to do it. So if you had a class of 25 children and were to sit with each one, teaching them carefully how to use it, then that's a lot of time. So how about you get a parent in? It might be someone who, perhaps a carpenter, who can come in and teach the children the skill in small groups, whilst you perhaps work on perhaps taking it on to the next level, looking at perhaps building a bird box. Getting ready for PE can be a real time waster, sometimes up to 20 minutes each session, and if you add that up over a year or a term, that's a significant amount of time wasted. So one way to be more effective is to use the beginning or the end of the day as your timetable session, particularly with younger children. So that way you can either, the children can come to school already changed, saving valuable time, or they can go home at the end of the day in their kit and let mum and dad do the hard work.
Visit teachers.tv/timesavers for useful advice on implementing Jane's tips.
Thinking about requests that children ask, I want you to see if you think any of these sound familiar to you.
What do I do next? Where does this go? Can I get a book? Is it PE today? Can I use the pencil sharpener? Did you watch TV last night, miss? We have to go out on playtime.
If any of those types of questions, those low-level questions sound familiar to you, you could try a requests audit. And by that, what I mean is you, over the 2 or 3 days, you make a note of the types of questions that you're being asked. So So they might be procedural or routine, information seeking, or they might be work avoidance. When you write them down in your notebook, it's worth colour coding them so that you can see how many of the different types of questions you get. So if you're getting lots of blues, lots of procedural, then you would need to think about the routines that you have in your class. We need to set up the classroom so that children know where everything is. Have they helped to decide what the routines are? Do they need to ask for things? Is everything clearly labelled? Quite a nice idea is to draw around the pots and the containers that the children will be putting away and actually put the template onto the shelf, so the children not only are able to know exactly by the shape matching up, that they're able to put things away independently. And I think there's a real balance between independence and you saving time. So the more you encourage children to do things for themselves, you know, why do they need to ask to sharpen the pencils? You know, why are you putting pencil pots out? Sometimes we can think, well, actually it's quicker to actually do it ourselves. But if you actually get the children to do these things, then it means that you're saving yourself time. Information seeking. If children are asking you lots of questions about how do I do this, or what do I do, then you need to consider whether the work's at an appropriate level. Are you giving too many instructions? You know, go over to the painting table, roll your sleeves up, put a painting apron on, and then paint a picture of your favourite animal. Well, you've lost them at roll your sleeves up, haven't you? So keep the instructions simple and keep them short so that they don't get lost. Work avoidance. Well, how many of them ask lots of questions, particularly how many want to go to the toilet a lot of the time. So what are we asking the children to do? How exciting is the work for them? How work appropriate is it? And it could be, again, that, you know, if you've made it relevant for the children, then it will be something that will engage them. But, you know, that's really important to help them not to avoid work. Trying to pitch the work at an appropriate level is another thing to avoid work avoidance.
We challenged reception teacher Claire Green to try out one of Jane's tips in the classroom.
Registration is something really important that we have to do, but it can be a real time guzzler. How about trying self-registration? Something as simple as a couple of notice boards, one clearly marked in, one marked out, with the children's names on one board, and as they come into the classroom, they just simply move their name from the out onto the in board, and then they go off and do an activity that you've set them previously.
Self-registration seems a great idea, a really good time saver. Traditionally, the way the register is done, the children do spend quite a lot of time sat on the carpet. Some initial concerns I do have is that obviously it's a little bit of time taken to make the display board, to put things together, but I think once they'd set up, they'd be set up for the year, because it'd be a practice the children would be used to getting on when they come in the morning and lunchtime. I do feel that in the beginning of reception, some children can't quite recognise their name, so just having names on cards would be a little bit difficult. So what we'd have to think about is maybe putting a picture that's the same letter sound as the children's name, so a jigsaw piece for Jack will be really good. One more concern, maybe a lot of children crowded around one place, but I'm really quite excited to give it a try and see if it does save some time.
It took Claire about an hour to make the boards and put them up. But will all that effort be worth it?
Today's the first day we're going to try self-registration. The children aren't here yet, but I'm sure they'll be very excited about it. One little thing I have done is I've just put the board slightly away from the door because I want to try and avoid congestion as soon as the children come into the room. So it's just slightly out of the free flow of the room, so it shouldn't cause too many problems as the children come in. So as for time saving, we don't know, but let's see how it goes. Where's your name, Max? Have a look. OK, just pop it on the inboard. And we know you're here, don't we? That's it. That's it. OK, Martha, can you squeeze it on there?
That is an ambulance.
It is ambulance. Adam, can you come and find your name? That's it, Nathan. Good boy. Daniel, do you want to go and have a little choose now? Good morning, Isabel. Oh, 2 people left. So Anna and Freya aren't here yet. OK. Well done, girls. That's it. that went really well, and the children really enjoyed it. Just as an activity in itself, it was a lot of fun for the children. They recognised their names straight away, and they really did enjoy it. One thing I didn't know we were going to get from it was so much language and talking all about numbers. The children were counting how many children have arrived, how many children still haven't arrived yet, and they were recognising other children's names quite nicely, sounding the letters out. So just the board itself has generated a lot of talk about names and reading, and particularly numbers. So that's been really fantastic. I think the way registration is done traditionally, it can take quite a long time. So I think really this would save a lot of time from registration being done in the morning. The children did it straight away, very quickly, and then the teacher would just need to quickly mark off which children were away or which children were late. It just would take a couple of seconds. And I think so, time saving, really good idea, fantastic. I'd say 8 out of 10.
To get children to tidy up more effectively, why not put them into groups and give each group an area of responsibility over the year? That way they become far more quick and efficient, and by adding an element of competition means they'll knock off even more minutes for you in the end. Thinking about the amount of traffic that passes between school and home or nursery and home, it's one area that can take a lot of your time to organise and to sort. How do we manage, things like newsletters, party invitations? What do the children do with their lovely paintings when they finish with them? What do they do with their pictures that they want to take home? How do you share all that information with parents without making it too onerous? And one tip that I picked up from a school was the use of a special box, and it's, as you can see, it's a really simple idea. It's just a magazine box, and obviously the children's name on each one. Every child has their own. It's used to put anything that's important to the children that's going to go home. So in this box, I've got pictures. So instead of the children saying to the teacher, I want to take that home, and then the teacher has to remember to give it out at home time, the pictures are just, the child just knows that as soon as it's dry, they go and put it in their special box. Now, a key thing to having a special box like this is the position of them. Where are they going to go? Think carefully where you would put the box, and I would suggest it's outside of the classroom. But by keeping them outside of the classroom and at children's level, we're encouraging the children again to be more independent. The teachers use these boxes as well to send letters home to parents. And again, this is a really good way. Instead of waiting till the end of the day, when all the children are anxiously waiting to go home to meet their parents, instead of you giving the letters out, and if you've got 25 letters, chances are you usually end up with at least 3 or 4 left, don't you? Think, oh, who didn't get that? It's far quicker for teachers to just spend 2 minutes just going up and down the boxes, just dropping these into the boxes outside of the classroom, and then you're reassured that the children or the parents will take the letters home. Another nice thing to share, putting the party invitations, as I say, get the children or the parents to do that. So that takes the responsibility away from you, so you don't have to have anything to do with party invitations ever again, which is a relief to many people, I am sure. In it goes into the special box. And another thing that is quite nice to share with the children is their learning journey, and pictures of significant things, pictures and activities that the children are engaging in. They can go home, and again, rather than the parents having to come and ask what the children are doing, they can just take this. They know that if this is in their special box, then they have every right to take that home. So it's fostering parent, school, nursery relationships, really helping to share.
You can get useful advice and templates if you visit teachers.tv/timesavers.